Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Cage Talk. Today, I have a female boxer. She goes by the name of Elli Grapp. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
No problem. You see, at first I was a little nervous, but now we talked a little bit. Now the
Yeah.
ice has been broken, so it's not too bad. I mean,
Yep. We got
you get.
the name pronunciations down, so
Oh,
we're
I'm the
hardest
worst at.
part is behind us.
I'm the worst at reading and pronouncing names. I'm horrible, as people will probably know in
Right.
future videos, but like that. But other than that, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah, I've been kind of having a chill day. Got to go to the gym and came home, took a
Nice.
shower, just really honestly chill. So it's been pretty nice.
Cool. I did kind of the same thing, except I
Yeah.
woke up at 3 a.m. to work, and then I came home.
Yeesh.
So
Yeah, no, I did not have to do that, thankfully. So
yeah, lucky
sleeping
you,
plenty.
lucky you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it, okay? So boxing, why boxing? Out of all the combat sports, I mean, again, bare knuckles kind of blowing up, not too much, but you got some people in there.
Mhm.
And then you have MMA, and then you have boxing. I mean, you could have done kickboxing as well, but
Yeah.
why boxing? Is there something that led you to boxing?
Okay. So I always tell people I have like the lamest origin story.
Never
But
done one.
basically I did like taking fitness classes for like kickboxing, boxing.
Mhm.
And I had done that like in high school, done like the like fitness kickboxing, but did it in when I was in grad school out in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Started up again because I was like, I need to get my ass back in shape. Like this is getting out of hand. I was spending too much time at school and not enough time in the gym. So that's how I started. And basically, like I was just like, I really like this. And the person that was doing those classes was like, you should totally compete. And I like let that go to my head, and I was like, yeah, I should. I could totally do this. And but I've been lucky to like get to kind of bounce around some good gyms with coaches that saw potential in me and trained me in some of the foundations and stuff. And I'm still because that's how I started out, I'm
Mhm.
still correcting a lot of like foundational stuff. And that's what I will just caution the world. If you
Yeah,
start in
definitely.
fitness, at like side of this sport, don't assume that they're teaching you the right things because
Yep.
they're not always. So
Especially those kickboxing classes. I seen them in LA Fitness. I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, don't ever do that. They're like, yeah, I'm like, no, that's not how you throw a
it's
jab.
so
Don't
bad.
do that.
It's pretty bad. I won't name names, but when I moved here to Omaha, Nebraska,
Hmm.
I was like looking for a part-time gig, and so one of those kickboxing places, I was like, yeah, sure, like I'll apply to whatever, like I can
Yeah.
do that. And there's like very little vetting of skill or technique or anything. So just heads up, world.
How's your
Don't break your
cardio?
wrist.
How's your car? Good. Okay, you're hired. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Do you look like you fit the bill? Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you're not overweight. You can do this. Now, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty basic, you know. But
Yeah.
that's cool. Again,
Yeah, it is.
so your amateur record right now, you're 2-0. All right, you're
Yep.
undefeated, right? Um,
Undefeated, but started. Yeah.
so now training and going to different gyms. How long did you stay in each gym? Because I know when I did boxing in Miami, I had a little. I mean, it was like the size of my garage almost. And this gym, you paid $50 for the whole year, and you think
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean, like it is good. I mean, back in the day, that was
Right.
I don't know if I can remember, like 2000 something. And the thing was, they had two guys running the whole place. But if you weren't in competition and stuff, and they didn't have, they really didn't work with you at all. Like they would have
Yeah.
their own
No, that's
fighters.
totally.
Yeah, they were doing their thing, and
Yeah.
then he would be like, the guy would come around sometimes. I kind of looked like an asshole because I didn't know what I was doing at the time, and he would just come. He'd be like, "Yeah, just shadow box for a couple rounds," and then he would show me like for like 2 seconds. He's like, "Yeah, use your footwork and like that." And then he would like bounce, and then he would go somewhere
Yep.
else and help the kids, and then he would come back and be like,
Yep.
"Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah, go run 2 miles." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit." Like, So
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, definitely like all of the gyms that I've been at are, if you're not competing, like the most technique that they'll teach you really is like to not get hurt. So like they'll teach you enough so that you're not like just gonna break your wrist on the heavy bag or
yeah,
something, but they're not super concerned about spending time with you if you're not trying to get in the ring, and like make them look good too, right? And that's
yeah,
why I think a lot of boxing gyms especially don't charge you much of anything. Like they charge you dues. They don't really, you're not a member though. It's
hmm
so like you might pay like $20 a month or something like that.
yeah,
But they know that like if you're putting in the work and you're gonna like represent them by fighting,
yeah.
like
You're
they're cool
definitely
with
yeah.
that kind of exchange, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's kind of true though about punching the heavy bag, because I remember him explaining to me how to, actually properly, close your fist and punch something. It's like, don't leave your
Uh-huh.
thumb out.
Yep.
It's like this asshole's gonna break his
Yep.
hand on it, and then we're it's a problem. So makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
That's why I gotta sign the waiver on the way in.
yeah, definitely. Now, Houston Alexander. Again, I had him on the show. He talked very, very highly of you. How did you end up meeting Houston? I don't know if he doesn't train you, but he works with you, or how's that? How's
Yeah.
that all
Yeah.
come together?
The so complicated. No, it's so we met actually not related to fighting at all. So I work for like HR for the YMCA here in Omaha, and
Nice, busy.
he every once in a while, I don't know if you knew this, he DJs and does
Mhm.
all of that as well. So yeah, okay. So he was DJing an event that I was at, and somebody was, at the time I had had my son maybe like 6 months. He was about 6 months old,
Okay.
and so I was like just starting to think about like getting back to training and doing all of that. And like some of my colleagues knew that. And so they're like, oh, you should talk to Houston Alexander. Like he's a fighter. I was like, okay. I don't know much about MMA, but like, I'm just trying to get back to it right now. And so
hmm
I knew that like if you're a fighter here in Omaha where I've never trained, like you
hmm
probably know more than me about the scene and stuff. So that's what I started training with him like about every week at that point. And like this was at the point I had a baby. I could not do a single push up at this point. Like I was very far out of shape, and so yeah, totally to credit Houston. Like he got me from that to
How many push-ups
the
can you do
level of
now?
fitness I'm at now. Oh, don't ask me that. It's still embarrassing, but it's
Oh, it's
not. I
not.
can't do one.
You
It's
can do
still
one.
embarrassing. Oh, I
You
can
can.
do it. Yeah, yeah. No, I can do push-ups. That's
I bet
just
you can do more
I
than
hate
me.
them and I avoid them.
Definitely.
Well, hey, we can get together after COVID and test that theory out.
You understand? I'm so out of shape that I played basketball like a couple days ago, and the next morning
Uh-huh.
my arms were killing me. I'm like, what the hell did I do? And it was from shooting a ball. That's fucking pathetic. That's how out of shape I am. When you're sore because of this motion all the time, yeah,
Right.
that's a problem. That's a problem. So yeah, I definitely have to get back into shape. I started when COVID hit. You know, I don't know how it was in Nebraska,
Mhm.
but over here in Texas, it was basically I work for the government, so it was 1 week on, 1 week off. So I had a whole week off, didn't do jack shit.
Right.
Kid was driving me nuts. I'm like, you know what?
Uh-huh.
So I just started running. I started
Yeah.
running a mile, then 3 miles, and then
Okay.
by the time I was running 7 miles. And
Did you bring the kid with? Were you
no,
running
my
with the child?
if you knew my son, no, it wouldn't work out like that because he'd see a park and then that's it. The workout's done.
Clear. Yep. Yeah, I have not found success in running with my kid in a stroller either. So
No.
yeah, I was just
And
curious.
I seen some people like have like well now he's too big, but have him
Right.
like here or like
Uh-huh.
on the bike, and they have him like
Yeah.
strapped to like behind you and shit. Like I
Yeah.
don't trust my kid. Like my kid was like
No.
slapping in my face and then
Yeah.
we'll end up
You
crashing.
just
So no.
handlebars. Yeah. No, I've tried that a couple times, and even like the ones that are built to like go on the bike, it's
Yeah,
just
no.
yeah, it feels like you're just like gonna tip over at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I don't trust it either. But
all right,
yeah,
all right. Sorry. Again,
all good.
I have like ADD and I jump everywhere, so everyone knows that. But
I'll follow you down the rabbit holes.
there we
That's
go.
fine.
Let's go. So boxing, your first match, preparation. How were you feeling? How did it go? I mean, obviously it went well. I've seen
Yeah,
some of the pictures and your record, but
yeah.
explain the
So
process.
okay, so I guess you gotta understand, like, before this first fight, like, I've been training for a few years, and like,
Okay.
there are so many like potential first fights that were like lined up and then didn't happen.
Hmm.
Lined up, somebody was late and didn't get to weigh in, whatever. So it had been a long time coming, and so by the time like I was in shape, it was fine. Like I heard this girl was potentially going to be there to fight. I had to gain weight for the fight, so that was, I don't know, I guess kind of nice at this point. Like I wouldn't want to do that in the future because that means they're going to be very big, but she was still shorter than me, so it worked out. But I had to gain weight for the fight, and then I was still training and just trying to get mentally ready. I think is the biggest thing.
Hmm.
And so by the day of the fight, though, I was like, I am so ready for this. Like I have been
You're
training for so
basically
long.
like
Like
you're
I've been
almost
waiting
over
for
it
this.
already, right?
Yeah, like I just need to get this under my belt like right now because I've been waiting for it for so long.
Hmm.
And I guess that's also like the thing is like I tried not to get my hopes up in the last minute because I had been through so many times of like knowing that a fight was coming and then it didn't end up um, going through. So, but by the day of, like I heard my girl weighed in and I was like, okay, like we're going, and basically like tried to relax that day as much as possible. Like took a good nap before the fight, and
Hmm. Were you
I saw
nervous,
the girl before the
or
fight, and I was like, all
you were
right.
just anxious to get it done?
I think at that point, like, yeah, you do get nervous, but like, I think people that have a decent amount of experience, like sparring and all of that, like, you just kind of know that that's like your body's way of like getting to where it needs to be to execute. So, the nerves aren't like didn't make me like panic or anything. Like, I wasn't like, oh God, I'm so scared, I don't want to get in there. Like, no, I was more like nerves, but like exciting. Like I'm
Gotcha.
excited to finally get it done.
What do you? What's
So
your?
yeah, but it was a good fight. Like what's that?
What's your? What are you fighting? What weight?
Okay, so I should be at 141, and that's what I always used to cut to,
Okay.
141. And this the girl that I fought, well, both of them were right around 155,
Oh
so like
wow.
that 152 weight
Damn.
class. But yeah, we agreed on like 155. So I usually walk at like 150, and so I had to
Okay.
gain like 5 pounds for these fights. So you
Okay.
know,
So it
I
wasn't
just
it
had
wasn't too drastic. Yeah, I was wondering like
nah.
that difference, like you said, but that's not too bad.
No, I basically drank a lot of water the day of and tried to wear as much clothing as they let me onto the scale. So yeah, it worked out. I mean, it was what it was. Um,
So how
but
did the
yeah,
fight go?
the fight was okay. So pretty anticlimactic. Like it was got in there like she came out strong, I came out strong, and 32 seconds later she was on the ground. So it was very quick.
Wow.
I felt like I was like barely got to experience a fight, like so it was good though, and like props to my opponent there. Like she came out swinging and stuff, and um, definitely made me work for it for that 30 seconds, but that
30
was
seconds.
all it lasted.
It
Yeah.
wasn't a minute, man. She was 30 seconds. But
Yeah, 30-second girl.
um now so you knocked her out. Was that the picture that you sent me? Was
Yeah,
that was that
yeah.
one? The Muhammad
Uh-huh.
Ali moment?
Yep,
Gotcha.
my Ali moment. Yeah,
Gotcha.
no, I felt horrible. It was like it wasn't like you can really like celebrate when somebody's on the ground, like you kind of look like an asshole if somebody's literally like knocked out. Yeah, exactly.
Got you, girl. No, now when she was like flat, like you flatlined her. Oh
She
damn.
she did not look well for a while. And I will say too, like I think what I'd heard from like the grapevine afterwards was that like she was cutting weight for it and like didn't cut very well and stuff.
Well,
So I won't like give myself all of the credit for like, knocking her
no,
out.
that's
But like
people the excuses when they get
yeah.
knocked out. Like, oh, they didn't cut well. You didn't do good. Fuck that. That's your.
So I mean, and I remember the ref at that fight was talking to my coach after, and like I overheard he's like, she hits like a dude, like she hits like a dude. Oh my God. So I didn't feel like I hit her that hard, but
Mhm.
she ended up on the ground. So I hit her hard enough.
No,
I guess.
that you definitely did. You definitely did. Do you remember what you threw before she went down?
Yes, it was okay, so it was a cross and then a lead hook and then kind of like a hook cross. It was a really messy one that like was the last punch, but
But
yeah,
isn't that the weirdest though? Like the punch that you least think that's gonna like knock him down is the one that like you probably hit him and you're like,
yeah. Yes, it was totally like that. Like it was like it landed and I knew it landed, but it didn't
as
feel
flush.
like it was that crazy. So
Yep.
she like rolled down off the ropes and I was just like looking like what just happened? Like waiting for her to get up because like I was like, did she like lose her balance or like what happened? Like
Oh, girl, get. Oh no, she fucked up. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was the weirdest thing. Like and people always tell you too, like with the headgear and all that, like it's really hard to knock people out in amateurs and stuff. And I was just like, I I don't know what happened. So again, she may have been going through some stuff with like being overly stressed out or cutting weight bad and stuff too. So who
Hey, it is
knows?
what it is, you know.
Yep,
You
I'll
got the
take it.
win.
I'll take the
But at the
win.
same time, isn't the headgear? I heard it's more. It's like more dangerous, right? Like you
I
can
don't know. Okay, so this is like I feel like
left
this
or
is
right.
a
I don't really fuck with that. I don't really like those.
I know, and this is like I feel like this is like a standing MMA boxing argument. Like, because I
Maybe.
think a lot of MMA people don't really like headgear that much, and
I try
boxers
not
are
to
like,
wear.
yeah, like wear the headgear, dummy.
Yeah.
And but I don't know. We take a lot more shots like right to the head and to the like your vital organs, and I know MMA you do too, but like it's a little different. Like there are a lot. You have a lot more ways to hurt a person in
Yeah.
MMA.
This one
You
you're
know?
just dealing this up here. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I
Well,
get you.
and with MMA, like the size of y'all's gloves and stuff, like if you hit somebody, like you're gonna knock them out. You're not gonna get to like keep dealing blows to their head. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I like my headgear. I'm gonna keep my headgear on until I get to the pros. But uh, yeah, I'm all about that headgear.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So your second fight was it another knockout,
So it
or
was
this
a
one actually went?
technical. Like she was like out on her feet, but like she was tough. Like she stood up the whole time. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was a RSC referee stopped competition. So
Yeah.
it was a TKO. But she was
Isn't that the
tough.
worst? Is when you're giving it to them and they're just keep coming like a
Yeah,
drum.
well, okay, so it was definitely like I like connected hard like two or three times in a row, and like I just saw her eyes like roll back, and I was like, okay, cool, like this
You
is
go
it,
back.
and she just snapped back, like, and I was like, oh shit, like okay, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Okay, so that
Yeah.
and that's what I'm working on now too is like realizing like I need to be able to like go the distance with people and when you're trying to knock somebody out from the get-go like you're gonna wear yourself out so I'm getting better about picking my shots and trying to learn all of that as I get more experience but yeah definitely coming from that first one I was like yeah I want to knock somebody out again
And
but
then boom. I mean, it's
yeah
a mental game too. I mean, sometimes if you deliver a strong shot and they just take it, you're like,
yeah
oh, shit, like what the fuck,
hmm
like
Yeah, and that's why they always tell you like don't show anybody that you're hurt. Like if you can help it, even if you're hurt, like don't show it to them because then they're gonna like come in like 10 times harder because that like
Mhm.
your spirits just boost so much when you see somebody hurt. You're like okay, thank God, like we're in the final stages.
Yep,
And you just
they're
get like
going down. They're slowly breaking down.
yep. So no, it was she was really tough though, like
Yeah.
and she was hitting hard, but I know she came out the gate and she tried to throw I think she tried to throw a cross or something and like her shoulder was completely messed up. Like they stopped it right out of the
She
like
popped her
in the
shoulder out of
first
place.
second. No, she didn't pop it out of place. I don't know what happened, but I know afterwards, I think I connected with her and she like had a shoulder surgery and stuff. So I don't know exactly what happened. I kind
I
of
would
wish
have
that
punched her
hadn't
shoulder.
happened so that like it you know feels like it might have been an even better fight than what it was, but
Mhm. I
you
mean,
know, it happens.
yeah, it does. Now, did you ever think about ever transitioning? Again, we talked a little bit before the show.
Yeah,
Again, from boxing maybe into MMA or doing some
yeah.
kickboxing. Is that
Well, okay, so
your
you
plans,
have
or do you kind of want to slow your roll, see what boxing takes you?
I love boxing. I also understand women in boxing don't always get to go very far. Um, and that's why I think there have been a lot of women that have transitioned from boxing to MMA. Like Clarissa Shields is doing it this year. I know Heather Hardy was one that has done that. Amanda Serrano. So there's been a lot of women to do that because there are better opportunities, and the promotion side in MMA I think is better for women. Like boxing is a little bit like we would like to still like keep you over here,
Mm-hmm.
whereas MMA has now kind of like integrated it pretty well, I think. I'm open to it. I never tried to get into that side of it, even though like when I first got involved in like learning combat sports stuff, it was more like I was learning from Muay Thai people, Jiu-Jitsu people,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted me to compete in MMA, and I was coming off like a knee injury, and I was like, that sounds like the worst possible thing to be like
Let's just do
throwing
it.
and
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
kicks to my leg. Like, no thanks, I'm good.
Mhm.
So that's why I stuck with boxing at first. But I honestly just really love like boxing is super, not that MMA isn't, but like very like technical, like almost like to a science.
Mhm.
And I kind of enjoy that aspect of it. But I love learning all of the different arts anyways. So like I'm definitely open to in the future taking an MMA fight. I just want to like get established as an
Yeah,
amateur in boxing for sure first.
yeah. I mean, again, just I wouldn't say it's a stepping stone, but I mean, it's always good to kind of fill your trunk full of, I mean, different options. But
Yeah.
just listening to you talk and stuff, I can see you're not sold on it just yet. Just I can tell,
You
but
know,
again, you
yeah.
the door's open for opportunities. You never know.
Yep. I won't ever close the door too early, but watching MMA sometimes I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
y'all are crazy.
it's a brutal but beautiful sport. So, well, I mean, there's bare knuckle boxing too. That's
Yeah,
another
that's not ever
that's
gonna
another
happen.
level.
That I will close that door right now. That's not
That's
happening.
not happening. Okay. Well, I
No,
talked to
that's
one of
not a
the
door I'm
amateur
gonna try to
fighters,
keep open.
and she says that they pay good, and they.
Okay, see, that's the only thing I was gonna say. It's like if they really like, if they pay that good, like shit,
I
like
mean, I
I'll,
wanted to know her contract. She didn't really. She couldn't. Cause I think she
yeah.
was on like a one-time deal just to see how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but I mean,
Yep.
she said, I mean, and she did MMA
They
too
do.
before, so I was a little curious about that. But again, it's a little bit
Yeah.
different. There's no glove. It's your knuckle. It
Uh-huh.
just so it's just your distance.
I,
it's completely different.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. No, I don't like the idea. I doubt that the money would make it worth it for me, but
yeah, I mean, if you have
there's always a
razor
price.
knuckles, because if you see those battles, usually they don't go down like they go. Yeah, see, you got it.
Yeah.
You
Th-
got
Those
it.
those would cut somebody. Those would cut
Exactly,
somebody.
easily. So easily. So I mean, again, I'm not. I'm just
Just trying to keep
little
me open minded. I get it.
open
Yep.
minded. That's it. Nothing too crazy. Again, if you like boxing, hey, I love boxing too. Don't get me wrong. But
hmm Yeah, it's a different level of tough that I guess you got to be for bare knuckle because that shoot. I,
yeah,
I like my face intact a little bit.
yeah, I wouldn't do it. I was like, no. Um, what's your next? Do you have
Not
any
for you.
plans right now for your next fight at all? Is there any news, or no? You're just right now training and
Yeah.
because of COVID and all this shit.
Right now, no official news. I'm training, but I know there's like some shows coming up, but those you only ever know like last minute whether or not you've got to fight. So I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers for February, but it might be more like March or April and stuff until stuff really starts getting going again.
Okay.
But I know once boxing shows really do open up again after COVID, like
Mhm.
it's gonna be boom, boom, boom. So
Definitely. Um,
that's what I'm hoping.
if there's one boxer that you could, female or male, that you can mimic their style, who would it be? There's somebody that, again, I've I'm a little bit older than you, so the fighters I would say are a little bit different. But like Jermaine Taylor back in the day for me was good because I liked his style. He was
Mm-hmm.
a very defensive
There you
fighter.
go.
I like that. Who would you be? Who would you say you would kind of replicate a little bit more?
Mm. Okay, well, I would love this is the person that comes to me today, and I feel
Okay,
like every time somebody asks me this, it's a different answer. So,
that's cool.
Katie Taylor, though, to me is like, if I could fight like that, like she is aggressive, technically on top of it. She's yeah. If you haven't seen Katie Taylor box,
I
like
have.
go check it
It's a
out
big,
because it's
yeah,
just yeah, it's impressive. Like
yeah. She is.
it's impressive to watch. So
It
she's
is.
got this power and the speed and all of it and the movement and yeah.
Yeah,
It,
definitely.
I would
And
love to be like Katie Taylor.
and that's one thing about the show that I've when I was doing it and stuff, and I started. It was on like I have two. I have it's like a sausage fest. Like I looked at all my videos, and like there's a bunch of guys. I'm like, I need fucking girls on this. Like people are gonna think I'm sexist and shit. And it's not. I try to mix it up.
Uh-huh.
I love talking to guys and girls. I don't mind
Yeah,
and getting their point of view and getting your point of view. It's very interesting. I like sharing stories and stuff,
yeah.
but at the same time, you guys are harder to talk to that than the guys. They probably think
Yeah.
I'm like a creep or something. Like, hey,
Great.
can you talk to me for a little bit? So it's a little bit harder to.
Not at all. No, I think as women, just for your future perspective, we're just grateful for the opportunity to kind of like get to promote our side of it too, because I think it is a perspective that's lacking in the sport. So, yeah, any chance I get to talk about it, like we were talking about this before we got on, but like I always feel like who am I to be on any podcast and stuff, but I'm so grateful for like the opportunity to get to talk about it because if there are like girls or women listening and stuff, like hopefully that encourages them that there's like a place for them in the sport too. So
And yeah, and that's basically why I did the podcast to any fighter, female or male that it's just the open mic. This show is not my show. This is your show right now. You could
yeah.
say whatever you want. If you want to say something that's inspirational or you have a message for
Right.
young female fighters to male fighters, I mean, be my
Yep.
guest. This is your floor, and that's one of the things I had when I first did it. I'm like, I want to do a podcast and interview fighters, but not like the way the fighters do after the
Mm.
pregame or
Yeah.
post, and they're like, yeah, he was a good fighter, and yeah, that was,
Uh-huh.
not like you're not being
Getting their
truthful.
head a little.
Yeah, like come on, like
Okay,
no,
well, here's what I want to say
there we go.
is uh
This show sucks.
I want to say screw you, Houston Alexander. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna see now. The good thing is, see, I have the power to do this. Now I can edit that, put it, and then send it to him via text. I'd be like, hey,
That's
by
fine.
the way,
I say it to him all the time. So, be my guest. No, I'm just playing. He's like been my biggest advocate here and stuff, but we definitely give each other shit. So
yeah, it's
that's
it's
funny.
it's crazy. When I first talked, I'm like, man, he's such a humble person for someone who can like knock your head out and murder you all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the most dangerous person is someone who's super kind
Mm-hmm.
but has that switch. I know he has that
Yep.
switch. He got that switch, and
Yeah, no, easily.
easily. So
Yeah. Yep. You can if he needs to flip it, I'm sure he can flip it. I'm glad I've only been on the sparring end of that, but
but again, yeah,
yeah,
he's a good
people
guy.
talking all kinds of crazy online, so you got to watch out.
Yeah, people, but that's people in general. People are gonna do that.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
safe behind the
Uh-huh.
computer. That's what they're gonna do. And especially
Yep.
nowadays, like social media sucks, and just gives you they just get an avenue
Yeah.
to just talk shit and not pay the price
Uh-huh.
for anything.
Yep. That's didn't Mike Tyson said something about that, like
Yeah, I was gonna take that
people.
quote. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'll be like I said that just now. I'm like,
Yeah. Like I came up with
I
that.
think I think he said something about they're all
Something about like if you saying stuff online because you're not gonna get punched in the
punch in
face
the
for it
face
kind of
with it.
thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly how he said it either, but yeah, I was like, that's very true.
it's very
People
true.
are very brave online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, any last words before we get out of here? Anything you want to say? Again, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Enjoy talking to you. It was really fun. Anything at all.
Awesome.
The mic is yours. Whatever you want. If you want to tell people to follow you on Instagram or whatever,
Yeah.
tell Houston
Well,
Alexander.
if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's where you would find out where I'm fighting. So that's Elli and Grapp, ELLIANNGRAPP. That's on Instagram. So yeah, give me a follow there. But any last words, I guess. Thank you for having me on. It's such an honor to get to talk about my experience in this sport anytime I can. And, I would just say to any girls and women out there that are thinking about it and don't know if there's a place for you, like we're all of us women are trying to pave a way right now. So come get some. We're all trying to push each other to be more successful. So yeah, that's
Support it 100%. Support it 100%. And again, I just want to say another thing. Fuck. No, brain fart. Yep, it went.
That happens. It happens to me all the time. I hate
many hits in the head.
You're right.
But,
punch drunk Alex.
But again, that's what I was gonna say. So we'll eventually have you back on the show. Yeah. Maybe once you become pro, or maybe like you're 7-0. I want to get a couple fights in there, and then be like, "Hey, remember that time?" And I can put a clip of us in the beginning. So definitely,
once I've got some more experience, I'm happy to come back.
Hey, again, experience or not, you're always welcome back. There's no judgment here. I don't give a shit if you're UFC, if you're Bellator. It doesn't matter to me.
That's awesome.
You're a person. You're doing your thing, and you're awesome.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good one. All right.